All right, you already know, boys. We had to do it, as we are going to be using Wild versus all of the demonic beasts. But Wild won't be alone, as we also going to be using Hawk as well, using both the green Hawk and the red one. Especially because we do have the anniversary buffs that does change their passive. And Green Hawk is really special because right now he will get 50% of all his stats being buffed until, you know, you see right there with the blue text, until that certain date. So this is gonna be the best time to use Hawk for this meme demonic beast run, especially when you got Big Bro WoW with him, because WoW basically, if he's paired alongside a specific ally, being either Hawk or Hawk Oslo, he gains 50% of all his stats in that character, which is that specific ally, being Hawk or Hawk Oslo, also gain that 50% as well, which could make it pretty nice for new players coming in to be able to defeat all of the demonic beasts or some of the ones they've been struggling with. So we're gonna be using this one featuring Freyr and Victoria for the bird, but I'm letting you guys know I will be playing against all of them. And we are using this artifact card sets. I'm gonna make sure I might timestamp it just in case, but again, we're using Wild and Hawk, and this is gonna be my gear set for most of the majority of the time, except for this one for Hawk. He does have his this one, because I was swapping out between the red one and the green one. But yeah, that's gonna be the gear set, using HP/defense, attack crit damage on Wild, attack crit on Freyr, and attack crit on Victoria. So hope you guys enjoy. Make sure you guys like and subscribe for more fun content, and this will be exciting. All right, so here we are on the demonic bird, and we are going to be using Wild and Hawk combination. Now we're using the red one for this one, and that's because I said red one. This is the green one, and that's because with the green one, he also gives himself, because of the anniversary, he gets a special buff where instead of, I think it's like what, 5% of all his stats getting boosted, he now gets 50%. So this will allow us to have Hawk have pretty much 100% of all his stats being boosted, and with his holy relic he also gains an additional 10% of all his stats as well. So now he has 110% of all his stats being buffed. Yeah, I know, it's kind of crazy, because now he pretty much hits like a truck regardless. Thing with this team is that again, Hawk and Wild are the two main damage dealers on your team. Obviously Victoria and Freyr are really nice, but the whole meme is using Hawk and Big Bro Wild together to do crazy damage. And you can see, look at the freaking bird couldn't do no damage to Hawk, just because again his stats are pretty crazy right now. Only thing I don't like is that because of Wild being a free unit, his ult damage is kind of low, but it's okay because they gain so much stats. They gain a lot of lifesteal as well, which is going to be really helpful for the other floors, just in case you want to build back up our HP. It's just that it makes them very hard to get rid of with each other, which is so cool using these characters so together, because again, it is a meme type of team, but it's a fun type of team as well too, especially for players who are very new, who are struggling on the early stages of the demonic beast. And that's why I say right now you probably want to try to meme with them as much as you possibly can, because this buff with Hawk isn't gonna last forever, right? With the 50% of all his stats being boosted, it will go back to pretty much normal, in which now you can get his crazy stat boost where you're going up to 110%. The most you're probably gonna get like up to I think like what, 60 probably or something. So I would use this while you can, just because how cool it is. And again, the thing with this is also that his Wild does not have cosmetics. Now if you've been a person who have looked at the leak server, they still post assets of the game file whenever the update does come, and there were some assets of Wild having cosmetics. One was like a Demon King skin one and stuff like that. So it is very possible that he will be getting cosmetics soon, probably paid ones at that, just for the people who obviously wants to get it first. cost money, or you can put gems into it, all that good stuff, just so you can have a better character. Because right now WoW has literally no cosmetics. So all he has is the one with the SSR and the UR version of his outfit, and obviously the one where you use up the, what's it called, the affinity one, where he gets like the hearts. That's literally the only way you get cosmetics at the moment. So it's kind of crazy. So all the videos you ever see me use with Hawk and WoW literally has no cosmetics in the game. And again, I don't know when it's gonna happen. Hopefully it happens pretty soon. I can use it a little bit more. Or maybe they need to release like more Hawks, because right now this Hawk is kind of mediocre at the moment, just because again, they are all both free units. So and Hawk is old too. You gotta figure that. You also gotta understand that Hawk is pretty old, so he really doesn't have the best of stats. But having this combination in like the PvP, the anniversary special passive being boosted, makes it a lot more fun to use Green Hawk. But you look at it, you see how easily I'm just going through the bird. And then Hawk just does like cap damage every time he just hits. He just doing like cap damage, or like pretty close to cap. Obviously that wasn't his best card. Usually his best card is his Pierce card, because he has so much stats that it just does like cap damage every single time, or close to cap. But you saw you saw with Fatoria, she literally just did cap damage easily. That's because I was using an HB set. So like this one is gonna be the deer, and we are using the red Hawk at this time, just because if I use the Green Hawk, then I'll be having to force to use 3 green characters, which is impossible for the deer. So that's why I'm using the red Hawk. Now the red Hawk has a interesting passive where it's not as good as the green one, but it is a ally based passive where pretty much if your ally has max ult gauge, then they will get their stats increased by a certain amount. I believe the original amount is 5%, but if you have the special rule, not the special rule, the special buff during anniversary, it goes up to 15%. So for every time my character has like 5 ultimate gauge, all their stats will be increased by 15% when they have maximum ult gauge. So that's why you can see with most of my characters, they actually hitting super hard whenever they have maximal ult gauge. That's because their stats are increased by 15%. Again, it's not a crazy boost, but it definitely can be helpful, especially for some demonic beasts where they stop your recovery or your life steal. So having pretty much Red Hawk to be there to just give you a quick stat boost could be really nice to increase your life steal. And again, you already know with the WoW and Hawk combination, WoW is automatically giving Hawk in himself 50% of all stats. So technically on this one, we're getting, if we have maximum ult gauge, we're getting like 65% of all our stats getting buffed. Again, really fun team to use. That's why I've been really enjoying making these videos featuring Hawk and Big Bro, just because it's just a fun little meme. Being able to defeat the demonic beast, one of the hardest content, especially for new players coming in, with characters that were given out for free, it's just such an amazing feeling. Because not everybody have the options, to use the best characters all the time. So being able to just meme with just having wild and a free Hawk on the other side of your field is pretty fun. So I really like it. Like, look at all the stats being increased by 65%. I said 65%. I think it's like 50%. I think you're getting stats as well from is it from Yomi Yamner? I forget which one. just because it looked like he gained a lot of stats, but I think it's from like Jormungandr with her passive also being good as well. Because I think Jormungandr is giving all stats buff as well too to characters, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah. So your Red Hawk, we got a couple characters with 15%, so that means they're getting boosted crazy. And look at Jormungandr stats, looking really nice. And this is where I reset because I thought I could do enough damage from Jormungandr. I forgot with Hawk, that card that you see right there where he turns into a demon is actually pretty trash because it is a what's it called? A shatter, which I think ignores resistance, which doesn't do much, right? Like ignoring resistance literally does nothing for us. So with this, we just going for our ultimates. And yeah, we just finish you off with this. Now we got a stat buff, and then boom, GG. Went demon mode on him. And again, like this is like super easy because again with the Wild and Hawk combination, you're just gaining so much life steal. So even if you take a lot of damage, you can just make it up from attacking. This time we're just using our cards. We'll try to use our best cards to finish them off pretty easily. You usually don't want to waste both of your blue cards just because again it's pretty hard to get them right back. You could have probably used a Jormungandr card, but sometimes Jormungandr damage don't be hidden like that. So we're just gonna waste a lot of cards. I started off with green just because most of my characters are green. So starting off with this cards first is gonna be nice for the color wheel, just so we can get more damage out the way. And we was literally able to clear a whole stock of HP on the boss, which is gonna be really nice for us because again, we can just go for our easy cards right here. Yeah, we're just using up cards at this moment, just so we can make sure we have the color wheel set for the next phase. So we're just making sure we get like a red card, green card, and blue card. And we're just wasting cards at this moment. And I just push for my ultimates just because I know with my Fatoria I'm 6 out of 6, so with her buff she will give you like 30% of attack related and defense related stats right here. So again, I'm starting off with a green character, and we also got Jormungandr ultimate off as well, which will increase our damage dealt. So now my characters are going to hit like a truck, and I guess we can try to like finish it off with Hawk. So we're just gonna end up using like a Fatoria card. You can see my stats are through the roof. And again, I wanted to use Jormungandr because I felt like if I use Wild, it would do a little bit too much damage. Just because again, he does got that 50% all stat buff on. So I just want to do enough so I can just pretty much finish him off and blast him through damage cap. And that's GG. That's the deer. And now we're on the wolves. And now this time we're using Freyr. Now Freyr is going to be really good for this because of the ignites. And for each unknown ally that's on the field, we also can get 5% base stats with his Holy Relic. And I think he also increased single target damage as well too for unknown. So that's going to be 15% of our single target damage being increased. And again, we're using the green Hawk at this moment. I was thinking about the red one again, but the green one is going to be a lot more fun. Just because again, we are using Freyr to boost our base stats even further. The only issue is sometimes, you know, you want to have like those high DPS AoE ultimate characters, but Hawk by himself will actually hit pretty hard, which I really like. Look, boom, damage cap again. I think he hit damage cap. Easy peasy, bro. I think the only one that might be difficult is going to be the Nidhogg, right? Because Nidhogg is a little bit harder to play against. But it's alright. Again, you guys get to see and witness how much stats and how easy it can be actually running these two together. I guess the only bad thing about it is that you're forced to have both of them on the field. So you have to use them both at the same time. Because I know I did a meme video using Hawk and Wild together in PP, and it was pretty hilarious because we were just asking our players left and right because they didn't know what to do against this type of team or characters, because you're just sitting there like, wait, is that Wild and Hawk? And you're just sitting there like, who do I go for? And it is so funny because they could literally not kill any of my characters just because Wild and Hawk, that's just too high for them. Like literally their stats were just way too high, and they were just forced to pretty much just lose like at that point. Yeah, this is gonna be pretty problematic for me because that was an old control card, which means he couldn't like get stats, or not stats, finish him off in one turn. That's what I say, most of the time you're usually relying on Freyr or getting your Pierce cards from Wild, because Freyr does damage, but the main damage dealers are going to be obviously Hawk and maybe Freyr, unless Wild gets his Pierce card, then he can do some damage. So we're going to be trying to build up our HP back on Thonar. That's because we want to make sure Thonar actually has a lot of HP for the next phase, well, not phase, floor. So you can see I'm just going for my attack cards as much as possible, because the only person I'm worried about of healing is going to be Thonar. I'm not really worried about Freyr healing. But GG. And now we on the final floor of the demonic wolves. And again, the demonic wolves isn't too hard or anything like that. Usually most players just use like a human team to pretty much speed run it. But I wanted to have a little bit of fun and use Wild just for like a video sake, just because it could be pretty fun using them for other players who are more so don't have other characters built up. And then Wild and then Hawk be able to just finish you off. We're just looking at his HP, because pretty much I'll be able to get damage cap right there. As you saw, we just hit like straight damage cap, because again, that's a Pierce card, and if my stats are being increased by 110%, that means my Pierce is being boosted by 110%, and my crit damage and crit chance. So we just open Freyr, we get some old gauge, get damage cap, and then Freyr just finish it off. All right, so this time we're just gonna ult. And unfortunately for me, I didn't really get another Hawk card, so he might actually live this one, just because this card doesn't really do damage, because it doesn't have like no special effect. All it does is really is take away ult gauge, which isn't much for me. So that's why you see my Thonar took a way more damage than she was supposed to. So this is where I'm just going to ult, push for my Freyr ultimate. So even if Thonar is gone, I can just go for my ultimate and finish it off with Wild and Hawk. So hopefully it doesn't single target again. Whew, that was pretty close, but it still should be GG. Big bro should be able to finish it off with all those Pierce cards, because again, that's what I said, that's his best card, his Pierce card. The old gauge card does absolutely no damage. All right, so this is going to be Nidhogg. Now Nidhogg is going to be the hardest one to actually do with this type of team, and that's because again, you're using two meme characters being Wild and Hawk together. Now the fun thing about this is that we're going to be using the red one, and that's because, like I said, having the ability to pretty much having the ability to gain additional stats on Nidhogg is gonna be really helpful because of, I believe the Nidhogg reduces your life steal. So with Hawk, all you have to do is get ultimate gauge, and then you can get your life steal back up. It's gonna be really helpful. Again, LR Liz is also giving you life steal too, because she gave you like 10% HP related stats from her Holy Relic. So that's why LR Lisbeth is also super good for Nidhogg, because she's giving you more life steal too. But usually Hawk giving you more ult gauge, which means equal up to 15% of your stats, is gonna be really nice for Nidhogg, because again you get more life steal. You can see with me, I'm just going for that. Probably could have ulted, doesn't matter. I just wanted to see my damage afterwards anyways, especially because again I'm trying to go for like the life steal plays. Yeah, I'm just more so going for life steal plays. I already know this is the first floor, so it's very easy to get rid of the characters, so I wasn't too worried about it. So this is where we're gonna just hopefully heal up a little bit more. Again, once we get maximum gauge, that's where you get that 15% all stat boost, which is gonna be really nice for us whenever we're trying to heal or tank hits. Because 15% doesn't sound like it's a lot, but it actually can matter a lot in this game mode. And Hawk just beat the brakes out of Nidhogg. I saw that. Gave him the 1-2 combo. Give him that Mayweather. Golly. Alright, so get through the flower. Obviously if you played Nidhogg enough, you'll know that with this you have to make sure they go all the way to the end, because they do have a undead, or what's it called, immortality buff. So you have to use Liz to pretty much get rid of the buff, remove the buff, and then we just gonna pull the cards. Hopefully, oh, we got our ultimate. So either I'm gonna ult right here, and then probably use a Liz card at the very end, just so we can pretty much finish them off. We still should do a lot of damage, even though we didn't never get the buff from Liz. You saw that I just did a lot of damage. This is where we just are going to heal and then stance remove, because this is the one where if you remove the stance, you get an infect grid debuff on you, so we can easily just cleanse it, and then boom, that's shatter, which I believe ignores resistance. I think what charge ignores the defense or something like that. And for some reason the boss goes for Liz, even though I believe Freyr should be my lowest HP character, just because he does have attack set. Liz has the HP set, so I don't know how he's targeting her. He should have like literally the most HP. Well, not the most HP, but you know, the third highest HP on my team. So he should be going right here. All right. So this is where we're gonna be able to get our chance to get Marliz heal. Now this one is where it gets a little bit tricky on Nidhogg. If you somehow get through this, you pretty much win throughout the fate. You just beat Nidhogg, because this is one is I like to say is like the hardest one. And it's because he debuffs you so much. So usually it requires you to keep getting your cleanser or heals with Liz. Just because again he spams so much debuffs on you that it can become really annoying. And he could, if I'm not mistaken, he can also get rid of your silver cards. I think this is the one where you can get rid of silver cards, but I might be mistaken. I might be thinking about floor 3. It usually is like the red card where he D-ranks you and stuff like that. Let's see, does it D-ranks? Okay, it doesn't D-rank. So yeah, I'm thinking about floor 3. There's some times where they could just D-rank you. The only thing I really like about my team is that with Wild, he can take away old gauge, which is actually really helpful. Because then I can just stall a little bit longer. Because usually you want to keep refreshing Liz ultimates because of that ultimate damage being so strong. But since I was able to just take away his ult gauge, we're just gonna finish off with Wild. And we just one shot. And you saw that? Let's say 1 million life steal. It still said 1 million life steal. That's the thing about this team, man. It's crazy. Now this is gonna be the longest one of the like again, Nidhogg is usually the longest one just because it's just so much you have to deal with. Obviously, if you have the best team being the goddess team for Nidhogg, you don't have to worry too much about clearing the floors slowly. Because I believe with Mael, you can literally just one turn this phase 1. Actually, I know you can one turn the phase 1, especially if you have that holy relic. But yeah, that is usually the issue. You also want to make sure you save up your buff cards. That's because again, you don't have no other specific cards in hand, because this is one where if you see the damage reduction stack on him, you have to waste a card right here, because once you use a card of a certain type, it will pretty much gray out that card effect or debuff you. So I use a buff card so you can see it grayed out my other one, but if I had used an attack card, then it would have grayed out all my attack cards. So that's why you want to make sure you keep a card of a specific type. Like if I had used a debuff card right there, it would have grayed out all my debuff cards. If I had used a heal card, it would have grayed out my heal cards. You know, you get what I'm saying. But this is one where you pretty much you want to have 3 ultimates of attacking ultimates, because each one will be 33%, which then will mean he'll go up to 0. So what you want to do is just ult 3 times right here. The 3 attacking ults. It's gonna be 33, 33, 33, and now you can use a regular attack card. And it's a good thing because we do have a stance removal card. Because you want to start off with a stance removal card to get rid of that increased damage dealt buff you see right there. Yeah, you saw it, it was gone. Because if you let him keep that, he will nuke your characters. And usually it always happens once he hits 0%. So you want to make sure he has enough percentage where he doesn't go to that 0% spot. Because if you go to that 0% spot, you might have to reset, which is like closing off your game. Unless you just want to take the hit. Sometimes I take the hit. Like you see right here, I might just take the hit. Just because I saw the amount of cards he had, which was less than I thought. So I'm just going for a clear stance. And now he's going to be back to 15%. He ults. And his ultimate actually hits pretty hard because it snatches up your stats. Means he's gonna hit hard right here, but life steal most of it, because again, remember guys, we get 15% of having max ultimate gauge, so we had 15% of our recovery being boosted, and on top of that, Liz is also boosting our HP related stats by 10%. So that's 25% of our HP related stats being increased right there. So that's why you saw I healed most of that damage right there, and then I reset because I forgot I had the snatch on me. So my ultimate damage was kind of trash. So this is where I just ults. I probably should have just removed the buff because he still snatched all my stats anyways. So I probably should have just did it regardless. Used up my buff card. Because I was just trying to make sure I kept getting that 15%. Because Red Hawk with Liz, definitely a really powerful combination. Just because again, being able to get that 5 ult gauge just to increase my stats is really nice for my team. So this is gonna be pretty much it. And then Hawk just blast you. Bow. Again, that card isn't really that strong. And since we got to the last floor, that should be pretty much it. Again, this is one where you just pretty much making him a practice dummy. Like, look at that, I did 1.5 million with Wow and Hawk together. Again, this is where he's just pretty much a practice dummy for our attacks. Obviously, you gotta be careful because there are some moments where he can hit you pretty hard. And if you see the red card right there, that means if you have a silver card in your hand, it will get D-ranked and you will lose ult gauge.